she looked like a nobody. Just another homeless woman, blending into the noise of a forgotten alley. But in the next few minutes, you're about to discover the truth. A truth so shocking, it left law enforcement frozen and an entire Black Ops program exposed. Before we dive in, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. And if you love mind-blowing true-style stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you stories the world will never forget. Now, back to the alley, where two cops were about to make the biggest mistake of their lives. The alley behind 47th and Clarkson was always forgotten. The kind of place city cleaners avoided, and people passed without looking twice. Amidst the overflowing dumpsters and graffiti-covered walls sat a woman with matted hair, torn gloves, and a faded army jacket that looked like it had been dragged through years of war. Her name, if anyone bothered to ask, was Maya Collins. But nobody asked. Not the baristas tossing day-old pastries in the trash, not the office workers hurrying by with headphones in, and certainly not the two police officers stepping out of a cruiser that early autumn morning. "Got another one camping out here," said Officer Barnes, a burly white man in his mid-40s, adjusting his belt as he approached. His partner, Officer Reyes, younger and more curious, followed behind him cautiously. Maya didn't move. She kept her back against the brick wall, her arms folded, eyes hidden under a hood. Barnes tapped his baton against a dumpster. "Hey, I'm talking to you, ma'am. You can't sleep back here. This is private property." Still no movement. "Ma'am," Reyes said more gently, "we're going to need you to leave the area. Do you have any ID?" That's when Maya raised her head. Her eyes were startling, not because of color, but precision. They didn't blink fast or dart nervously. They scanned, calculated, measured. "No ID," she said, her voice low and steady. "I'll move, just needed a place to think." Barnes frowned. "Think somewhere legal. You smell like whiskey and regret." Reyes glanced around, sensing something off. Barnes stepped forward and nudged Maya's foot with his boot. "Let's go, up." In one swift motion, Maya was on her feet, and for a split second the world slowed. Reyes noticed it first, the perfect stance, the way her weight shifted, balanced, poised. She didn't look like someone who'd been sleeping on cardboard. She moved like someone trained. "Hold up," Reyes said, stepping in front of Barnes. "Maybe we ask her," but it was too late. Barnes grabbed Maya's arm. What followed was a blur. Maya twisted his wrist, grabbed his baton mid-air, and swept his legs out from under him in a single fluid move. Barnes hit the ground hard, groaning in pain. Maya spun around, baton now in her hand, and pointed it straight at Reyes. "Don't," she warned. Not yelled, not threatened, just advised. Reyes froze. Then she dropped the baton beside Barnes, turned and walked calmly out of the alley like it was just another Tuesday. 10 minutes later, 4 more patrol cars arrived. "What happened here?" asked Lieutenant Sarah Morrison as she examined the alley where Barnes sat holding his ribs. "She assaulted an officer," Barnes spat. "She's not just another vagrant. That woman's dangerous." Reyes shook his head slowly. "That wasn't assault, that was defense. And she wasn't just dangerous, she was skilled." Morrison narrowed her eyes. "You get her name?" "No, but I've seen moves like that before." Reyes paused. "I was in Afghanistan. She moved like a Tier 1 operator." "You're saying she's military?" Morrison asked. "I'm saying she's not who we think she is." Across the city, in an underground veteran support shelter, Maya leaned over a sink, washing blood off her hands. Not hers, she hadn't drawn any. But Barnes's fall had caused a nosebleed, and she didn't want any trace of it on her. She looked at herself in the cracked mirror. Her reflection stared back, unkempt, tired, worn, but behind the eyes, the sniper was awake again. The face that once wore a uniform with the Special Forces Group patch now hid beneath dirt and silence. But something about today was different. That alley, the badge, the instant reflex. She hated herself for reacting. She'd worked too hard to disappear. Suddenly the door behind her creaked open. "Long time," said a gravelly voice. Maya spun, fists clenched. A tall, bald man stepped into the dim bathroom light. He wore civilian clothes, but his boots were military issue. His bearing was too straight, his voice unmistakable. "Jackson?" Maya whispered. "Still remember my name," he said, half smiling. "Figured I'd find you here. Word on the street is you tossed a cop like a sandbag this morning." She turned back to the mirror. "I didn't hurt anyone." "Didn't say you did, but you drew attention, and that's a problem." Maya wiped her face and dried her hands. "I've been invisible for 4 years. Don't tell me how to disappear." "You were never meant to disappear," Jackson replied. "You're too good at what you do, and the people who trained you, they haven't forgotten." Maya's jaw tightened. "I'm not going back. You might not have a choice. They're looking for you." She turned to him. Why now? Jackson sighed, reached into his jacket, and pulled out a photo. Because this girl disappeared last week, and someone left a round in her bed. Military sniper issue, .338 Lapua, one shot, clean. He placed the photo on the sink. It was a teenage girl, 15 maybe 16, braided hair, innocent smile, gone. Maya stared at the image, her eyes sharpened. Who did it? Jackson paused. We think it's connected to the people we used to work for, the unofficial ones. Someone's resurrecting the old missions, only this time, they're targeting civilians. Maya didn't respond. Her mind spun with calculations, tactics, threat assessments. Don't do it, Jackson added. You know what happens if you get involved again. She looked up slowly. I'm already involved, she said. Then she picked up the photo, folded it, and tucked it into her jacket. Back in the precinct, Reyes sat at his desk, typing Maya Collins into a restricted military records database. The results came up blank. He tried again. Still nothing. Then a red alert popped on his screen. Access denied. Classified Tier 1 clearance only. He leaned back slowly. Who the hell are you? He whispered. The night air carried the smell of gasoline and burnt rubber as Maya slipped through the shadows of an abandoned train yard on the outskirts of the city. It was her safe zone, a place only ghosts remembered. Her footsteps made no sound, her breath steady. She moved like a whisper through concrete and steel, every muscle disciplined from years of battle. Even though the world thought she was done, she wasn't. Not when teenage girls were going missing and the government's dirtiest secrets were crawling back to the surface. The folded photo in her jacket pocket felt like a burning coal pressed against her chest. She hadn't seen the girl before, but the precision of the kill, the bullet choice, the message left behind, it all reeked of Spectre protocol, a covert operation she was once part of, a program so classified it didn't exist on paper, only in shadows. Maya's contact was supposed to meet her near Track 6. She waited, motionless behind a rusted freight car. Then, a low whistle, one short, one long, sliced through the silence. She didn't move, but her eyes scanned the darkness. Left hand, she muttered to herself. A faint movement. She struck. In less than a second, Maya lunged from her hiding place and pinned a man to the ground with her forearm across his throat. Her knee was pressed into his ribs, her eyes narrow slits of cold. Code name, she hissed. The man choked out, Ghost Lantern. She eased off slightly. You're late. He coughed. Traffic. You walked here. Still counts. He wheezed. She let him up. The man, lean, bearded, with jittery eyes, dusted himself off. Geez, Maya, you could have just said hi. She looked him up and down. If I wanted to say hi, you'd be unconscious. He smiled nervously. Fair. You haven't changed. Unfortunately, Spectre has, she said. Tell me everything. Ghost Lantern, whose real name was Theo Burns, was a former tech analyst for Spectre before it went rogue. After the program dissolved, or so they thought, he went underground. He'd been watching the dark web, intercepted a few encrypted comms, and suspected something was brewing. There's chatter about Project Ashlight, Theo said, handing her a cracked tablet. It's a fragment, but look. Maya scrolled through the lines of encrypted data. It wasn't just chatter, it was planning. Names, targets, coordinates. Her eyes narrowed. One of the coordinates led to a juvenile detention center in North Carolina. Another was marked Beta Asset Reacquisition. That phrase, she said quietly, was only used inside Spectre. Exactly, Theo said. They're pulling old operatives out of retirement. Or worse, they're eliminating liabilities. Maya clenched her fists. They're trying to erase us. Before Theo could reply, a sharp crack rang out, the distinct sound of a sniper round. Theo's body jerked forward as blood exploded from his shoulder. He collapsed against the freight car, groaning in pain. Down, Maya shouted, dragging him behind a steel crate. She didn't need to see the shooter to know the angle. Her instincts calculated distance, wind, trajectory, like breathing. Sniper, high ground, suppressed. Silencers too clean. Could be the Ruger SR-25. Probably 300 meters northeast, top of the crane. Theo groaned. You still analyze like a damn robot. You still bleed like a civilian, she snapped. Another shot rang out. The bullet barely missed her ear, splintering a wooden beam behind her. Maya didn't flinch. Instead, she reached into her boot and pulled out a compact folded rifle, XM 2010, disassembled and smuggled over years ago. She clicked the parts into place with mechanical speed, then popped open a hatch in the floor of the container. It was a straight tunnel between tracks, just wide enough to crawl. Stay here, she said. Wait, Maya, what if you don't come back? She looked him dead in the eye. Then aim better next time you whistle. And with that she disappeared into the dark underbelly of the train yard. 3 minutes later, Maya emerged behind a fuel station opposite the crane. She scaled a service ladder without making a sound, eyes fixed on the top where the sniper had fired from. She could feel him, breathing, watching, waiting for the next kill. When she reached the platform, the top was empty. "Clever," she muttered. Then she spotted it, a tripwire. She halted an inch before stepping on it. Her eyes scanned further. A secondary wire was looped through a claymore mine, hidden behind a rusted toolbox. "This isn't an ambush," she whispered. "It's a test." A faint click behind her. Maya spun, sweeping low, but a gloved hand caught her wrist mid-motion. She locked eyes with a masked figure, tall, lean, and precise. "You're slipping, Maya," he said in a deep voice. "You used to be faster." She pulled back and struck with her elbow. He dodged. They fought, brutal and efficient. No wasted movement, just strike, block, counter. He was good, almost too good. Then he spoke again. "Command said you'd resurface. You always were sentimental." Maya's heart pounded. "Who are you?" He smiled under the mask. "You knew me as Falcon 9, her breath caught. Falcon 9 was supposed to be dead. She remembered the last mission, extraction gone wrong, the desert, the explosion. "You're alive," she gasped. "And working with the new Spectre now," he said. "You should join us. The mission isn't over. We're cleansing the rot. This time, no politics, just efficiency." She stepped back. "You're killing children. They're future threats. We're preempting the war." Her hands trembled, not from fear but fury. "I didn't vanish to become a monster," she said. Falcon 9 nodded slowly. "Then you're a liability." Suddenly, he kicked the claymore mine toward her and leaped off the crane. Maya dove just as the mine exploded behind her, the shockwave throwing her against the guardrail. Soot and sparks rained down. The world blurred for a moment. Her side ached, but she was alive, barely. Below, Falcon 9 vanished into the shadow. Rain fell in heavy sheets as Maya staggered away from the wreckage. The train yard burned behind her, twisted metal glowing orange from the claymore's fire. She moved quickly, disappearing into the city's underbelly, before first responders could arrive. Her ribs throbbed with each breath, and the wound on her left side wasn't just bruised, she was sure something cracked. But pain was an old friend, and right now she had no time for pity. Falcon 9 was alive. Worse, he was recruiting. That changed everything. Inside a grimy underground parking garage, Maya found the beat-up motorcycle she had stashed a year ago under a tarp. She peeled it back, hot-wired it in 30 seconds, and vanished into the night. She wasn't just running now, she was hunting. Across the city, in a glass-walled security firm high above downtown, Lieutenant Sarah Morrison stood with arms crossed, staring at the traffic footage from earlier. "You sure it's her?" she asked. "Positive, Maya Collins, but the military database scrubbed her. I can't find a single record." Morrison paced. "She disabled an officer, then vanished. No ID, no background, and now a gunfight in an abandoned train yard with what looks like a claymore explosion. That's not a coincidence." He leaned forward. "We shouldn't treat her like a suspect. She saved my life, Sarah. She had every chance to hurt me, but she didn't." Morrison turned to him. "We don't know who she is anymore." "She's not the threat," he said. "She's the warning." Morrison was silent for a moment, then nodded to her tech. "Trace any video of the woman leaving the train yard. I want her route mapped. Now." Maya arrived at a rundown motel just past midnight. She didn't check in. Instead, she climbed through the back window of room 212, the way she'd done before, and opened a floorboard beneath the bed. Her fingers brushed over a duffel bag wrapped in plastic. Inside, a satellite phone, an encrypted laptop, clean clothes, and her old military dog tags. The name etched on the tag: Collins, Maya L. ONAG, Special Forces, SOCOM. She stared at it. It felt like a relic now. She slipped the chain around her neck and powered up the laptop. Encrypted files blinked to life. She ran a decryption program Theo had once built for her, only executable with her biometric fingerprint and passphrase. Whisper, aim, silence. The screen unlocked. Dozens of red files glowed like warning flares. One caught her eye. Operation Mirror Storm, reopened. She clicked it. Inside were names, locations, a kill list. Top of the list, Collins, Maya, status AWOL, terminate on site. She didn't flinch, but her knuckles whitened around the mouse. Under her name, a message, asset deemed unstable. No Spectre intel, must be neutralized before Ashlight activation. Below that, a timestamp. The operation was going live in 48 hours. And the second name on the list, Nyla Griffin. Location, St. Elizabeth's group home, Raleigh. The teenage girl in the photo. She wasn't dead yet. That meant Maya had time. The motorcycle roared across state lines before sunrise. Maya never stopped. Not for gas, not for food. Her focus was absolute. She reached Raleigh by midday, disguised in a black hoodie, her hair tucked into a baseball cap. She scoped out St. Elizabeth's group home from a rooftop across the street, binoculars in hand. The building looked calm, too calm. Children played in the fenced courtyard, but Maya knew better. Spectre rarely struck loud. They crept in, left no trace. She zoomed in. There, a black SUV parked 1 block away, tinted windows, engine running. Snipers didn't wait unless something was about to go down. Maya pulled out her phone. She had one last contact in North Carolina, an old military comrade named Darius Holt, who owed her his life. She dialed. "Darius," she said, "don't talk, just listen." A pause. "Maya," he replied, instantly alert. "Is this really? Raleigh, St. Elizabeth's. They're coming for a girl. I need you. 1 hour. Bring gear." Click. She hung up. Then she moved. Inside St. Elizabeth's, Nyla sat on the edge of her bed, earbuds in, humming to a song. She had no idea 2 assassins had already entered the building, dressed as child services agents. Maya entered through the basement boiler room, moving with military precision. The moment she got upstairs, she heard a fake laugh echo from the hallway. "Hi, Nyla. We're with social services. We just need you to come with us for a quick medical checkup." "No one told me anything," Nyla said hesitantly. "It was last minute." One of the agents smiled, his ID badge fake but convincing. Maya didn't wait. She burst from the stairwell, grabbed the first man by the throat, and slammed him into a locker. The second reached for his gun, too slow. Maya fired once. Pop. Silence shot. His leg buckled and he collapsed, groaning in agony. She turned to Nyla. "Come with me. Now." Nyla blinked, stunned. Who are you?" "I'm the reason you're still breathing." Before Nyla could argue, Maya pulled her out the side exit, just as backup vehicles arrived. She rushed Nyla into an alley and handed her a hoodie. "I don't understand. Why are they after me?" "Because of who you might become," Maya said, "and because of who you remind them of." Nyla stared at her. "You were one of them, weren't you?" Maya didn't answer. She scanned the alley. "We need to keep moving." Just then, tires screeched behind them. Black SUVs blocked the exit. From the front vehicle, Falcon 9 stepped out. He raised a bullhorn. "Maya Collins, you have 5 seconds. Turn over the girl." Maya shielded Nyla with her body. "You'll have to go through me." For a moment, the alley froze. Heavy air thick with tension, rain sizzling against hot asphalt. Falcon 9 stood tall behind a wall of black SUVs, flanked by armed men in tactical gear, faces hidden beneath black visors, and in front of him, Maya, soaking wet, breathing hard, shielding a terrified teenage girl behind her. No backup, no high ground, just her. "I said," Falcon 9 raised the bullhorn again, his voice calm but deadly, "turn her over." Maya didn't blink. Her stance shifted subtly, heel pivoting into solid ground. "I warned you. You come after her, you'll regret it." Falcon 9 smirked. "You're outnumbered." "You've never understood odds, have you?" she replied, pulling something small and silver from her belt, a signal beacon. With a flick of her thumb, she hit the switch. Suddenly, boom, a blast erupted from the rooftops above, sending debris crashing down between Maya and the SUVs. Smoke filled the alleyway. Screams of confusion echoed as Falcon's men scrambled. From the shadows, a figure dropped, boots hitting the ground hard. Darius Holt. Massive, bearded, and grinning like war was a sport. "Miss me?" he asked, cocking his custom shotgun with a satisfying check. "Took you long enough," Maya growled, dragging Nyla into cover behind a dumpster. "I had to stop for barbecue," Darius winked. Bullets sliced through the air as Falcon's team opened fire. Maya and Darius moved like a machine, one covering, the other advancing. Darius laid down, suppressing fire, while Maya flanked left, taking out 2 soldiers with precise headshots using her suppressed Glock. They weren't just fighting, they were outclassing them. Falcon 9 watched silently from behind his line, unmoved. Then he raised a gloved fist, switched to phase 2. That was when Maya saw it. A red laser dancing across Darius's back. "Down," she screamed, but it was a second too late. The shot rang out. Not a bullet, but a tranquilizer dart, high grade. Darius roared, stumbled, and dropped to one knee. Maya caught him mid-fall. "Go," he slurred. "Get the girl out." "I'm not leaving you," she growled. "You always were stubborn." Another dart whizzed by. Maya dragged Darius behind a burning trash bin, yanked a vial from her med pouch, and jabbed it into his thigh. "Antidote. You've got 5 minutes. Then you move." He nodded slowly. "Remind me never to owe you again." They retreated into the maze of alleys, slipping through fire escapes and rooftops. Falcon's men followed. But Maya knew this city better than them. She'd once mapped it as a backup exfiltration zone. Now it was her battlefield. Inside an abandoned art studio near the industrial district, Maya secured the door with a steel rod and flipped Nyla a bottle of water. "You okay?" she asked. Nyla nodded shakily. "You saved me. Twice." "Why?" Maya hesitated. "Because I failed before." "Who did you fail?" "My sister," Maya whispered. "She looked just like you, and I wasn't there when they came." Nyla's eyes welled with tears. Darius leaned against the wall, regaining strength. "We can't keep running. They're not stopping." Maya pulled out her laptop again and connected to Theo's remaining secure channels. A location pinged on the screen. A warehouse, 30 miles out, marked Ashlight Launch Command. Maya clenched her jaw. That's where they're activating the program. That's where this ends. Darius stood. "So what's the plan?" "We hit them before dawn. Get inside. Destroy the mainframe. End Spectre for good." "And if Falcon's there?" Darius asked. Maya looked up slowly. "I kill him." At 4:19 a.m., under the cloak of darkness, Maya, Darius, and Nyla arrived on the outskirts of the warehouse compound. The facility was built like a fortress, lined with motion sensors, surveillance drones, and hidden towers. "I count 12 heat signatures," Darius whispered, peering through thermal goggles. "They're not playing games." "Neither are we," Maya said, pulling a long case from her duffel bag. She opened it to reveal her custom sniper rifle. Matte black, carbon fiber, with a scope that could read license plates from 3 miles out. Nyla stared. "You're a sniper." Maya nodded. "I wasn't just a sniper, I was the best." She set up position from a rocky ridge across the field. "Once I take the east flank, you two move in through the generator tunnels," she instructed. "Get to the server room. I'll cover you from here." Darius smirked. "Just like old times." Maya loaded the rifle, exhaled slowly, and pressed her cheek to the scope. Her world went silent. Then, crack. First guard down. Crack. Second one dropped. Panic broke across the radio frequencies. They moved. Inside the compound, Darius and Nyla snuck through tight tunnels lit by flickering lights. The deeper they went, the louder the humming of machines. Suddenly a shadow blocked their path. Falcon 9. He stepped out from the dark, blade in hand. "You thought I'd leave the back door unguarded," he said. Darius raised his gun. "No." Falcon smiled. "But I thought Maya might be watching." And he threw a grenade toward the camera above them, boom, cutting the feed. Maya up on the ridge lost visuals. "Darius, come in," she barked into the comms. Darius, no response. She clenched her jaw and broke down her rifle. "No more long shots," she muttered. "Time to go face to face." She slung on her vest, pulled her sidearm, and descended the ridge like a storm was in her veins. It was time to finish this. The sky was bruised with the first light of dawn as Maya sprinted across the field toward the warehouse. Her boots crushed gravel and glass, every step calculated, every breath cold and focused. She moved like a ghost, unseen, unheard, death wrapped in muscle memory. Inside, alarms wailed. Red strobes lit the halls as Falcon 9's men scrambled to regain control, but nothing could prepare them for Maya unleashed. She burst through the side entrance, gun drawn. One guard lunged. She shot him in the thigh, twisted his weapon from his hand, and used it to floor another. She didn't hesitate. She didn't speak. This wasn't defense anymore. This was war. She pushed deeper, the smell of oil and metal thick in the air. Her comm buzzed again. Static. "Darius," she tried. "Nyla." Still nothing. Then footsteps. She whirled, only to see Darius limp into view, blood trickling down his arm, one eye swollen shut. Nyla was right behind him, clutching a flash drive. "They've got the data," Darius croaked, "but we couldn't reach the core." Falcon locked the system with biometric clearance. Maya's eyes narrowed. "Then he's still here," a voice echoed from the upper level. "Of course I'm still here." Falcon 9 stepped into the balcony above them, flanked by 2 guards. He looked down at Maya like a god surveying an ant, confident, calm, charging in, saving strays. Maya holstered her gun and stepped forward. "You talk too much." He raised a hand, and his men opened fire. Maya shoved Darius and Nyla into cover and dove behind a steel container. Bullets ricocheted like lightning. Darius grunted. "We can't get a shot." "I don't need a shot," Maya said. She closed her eyes, breathed, counted. Then, she ran, zigzagging through crates, sliding under debris, leaping onto broken scaffolding. Her old sniper training kicked in. Use chaos, become the blur. She reached the stairs before the guards could reload. One spin kick sent the first guard flying over the rail. The second tried to aim, too slow. She yanked his arm and slammed his head into the wall. Now only Falcon remained. He drew his combat knife. I was hoping we'd finish this up close, he smiled. She stared him down. So was I. They clashed, blade against fist. Years of training collided. Falcon was strong, cruelly precise. But Maya was faster, smarter. She didn't fight for a cause anymore. She fought for every child they tried to erase. He slashed at her leg, grazed. She retaliated with a headbutt, dazing him, then flipped him onto the control panel, sparks bursting beneath them. "Still think I'm predictable?" she growled, pinning his throat. Falcon chuckled weakly. "You still lost." He slammed his hand down on a red switch. Self-destruct countdown, 5459. Maya cursed. "You'd rather blow this place than let the truth out?" He grinned through bloody teeth. "The truth doesn't matter, only what survives." She knocked him out cold. Below, Darius yelled, "What now?" Maya grabbed Falcon's thumb and pressed it to the scanner. Access granted. She jammed the flash drive into the port, initiating full Spectre data extraction. Files downloaded. Operation logs, blackmail trails, names, codes, all of it. When the final bar hit 100%, Maya ripped the drive out and bolted. "Go now," she shouted. They sprinted out the back just as the building roared behind them, flames swallowing secrets that had hidden in the dark for too long. 3 weeks later, the story broke globally. Leaked footage, whistleblower files, Spectre's crimes exposed. The world demanded answers, and vanished within it all was the woman who sparked it. No interviews, no press. Maya disappeared. Again. Some said she died in the explosion. Others claimed she was spotted crossing into Canada or boarding a freighter to nowhere. But in a quiet town up north, where the forests run deep and silence is easy to find, a teenage girl named Nyla now lives with a guardian. She trains every morning at dawn, running, reading, learning to fight, and sometimes just before sunrise, a figure watches from the tree line. A woman in a faded military jacket, unseen by most, unbothered by the past. She's not running anymore, she's watching, because now the world knows who she is, not a homeless nobody, but Maya Collins, the most lethal Green Beret sniper in U.S. history, and the last warning any enemy will ever get.